Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Why Sally needs to return to her devious ways on Young and the Restless. It's time for Sally to return to her bad girl roots on I, and our Sally has become one of the popular heroines on the Young and the Restless. Like many characters, she's been through lots of drama, but is now on the straight and narrow path. However, it's time she returns to stirring up drama. Good girl gone bad. Sally, Courtney Hope, wasn't always the good girl she is now. When she first arrived in Genoa City, she was a troublemaker. She flirted with Jack, Peter Birdman, to get ahead at Jebot. Then she began a feud with Summer, Allison Lanier. Sally teamed with Tara, Elizabeth Laner, to break up Summer and Kyle, Michael Mueller. When Summer's mother Phyllis, Michelle Stafford, exposed the duo's scheme, Sally lost everything. However, being the fighter she is, Sally clawed her way back to the top. Since then, she's changed her devious ways and became a well-respected Genoa City resident. While Sally's worked hard to turn her life around, the character is long overdue for a change. Sally's good girl persona has become a bit bland. The character is too nice and her life is lacking drama. Battle of the Redheads. The best way to have Sally become a villain is by reigniting her feud with Phyllis. Currently, Phyllis has become a thorn in Sally and Billy's, Jason Thompson, relationship. Phyllis is going through a tough time following her kidnapping, and Sally's trying to be understanding. But the constant interruptions are irritating Sally. This week's video preview has Chloe, Elizabeth Hendrickson, encouraging Sally to become devious to deal with the Phyllis and Billy situation. Sally will be hesitant to go back to her scheming ways, but she might have no choice. The more disruptions Phyllis cause, the more desperate Sally will become. If she wants Phyllis out of her and Billy's lives, she'll have to pull a page out of her old playbook. Few characters in Genoa City have undergone as significant a transformation as Sally Spectra. Introduced as a confident, cunning, and ambitious schemer from Los Angeles, Sally quickly made her mark on the Young and the Restless by stirring the pot wherever she went. But somewhere along the way, the fire that once defined her has been doused by heartbreak, romantic entanglements, and attempts to fit into a world that doesn't always welcome outsiders. Now more than ever, the show needs Sally to return to her devious roots, and here's why. The fall of a femme fatale. When Sally Spectra first arrived in Genoa City, she was electric. Her bold fashion sense, quick wit, and unapologetic ambition set her apart from the crowd. She wasn't afraid to bend the rules to get what she wanted, and that edge made her captivating. But as time passed, Sally softened. Her relationships with Adam Newman and Nick Newman pushed her into more vulnerable territory, and the writers seemed intent on humanizing her by dialing down the very qualities that made her exciting in the first place. While vulnerability and emotional growth can be essential for character development, it shouldn't come at the cost of losing what made a character magnetic. Sally's attempts to go straight have left her stuck in limbo. Too soft to be the troublemaker fans loved, but too independent to play the damsel in distress. Drama demands a spark plug. Soap operas thrive on conflict, betrayal, and surprise twists. Sally Spectra, in her prime, embodied all three. Whether she was scheming to win a job, outmaneuvering rivals in the fashion world, or pulling strings in the Newman empire, Sally brought much-needed unpredictability to the show. Her presence meant something big could go down at any moment. The current Sally is more reactive than proactive, often on the receiving end of heartbreak or business snubs rather than initiating bold moves of her own. Genoa City already has plenty of characters who play it safe. What it lacks now is a true agent of chaos. Sally returning to her roots would reinvigorate multiple storylines and inject excitement into a show that occasionally slips into predictable territory, reclaiming power in a male-dominated landscape. One of the compelling aspects of Sally's character is how she carved out space in a male-dominated environment. Genoa City's most powerful players, Victor, Jack, Adam, Nick, often control the narrative. But Sally, at her peak, refused to play by their rules. Her schemes weren't just about self-preservation, they were about proving her romantic involvement with the Newman brothers. While these relationships added complexity to her character, they also reduced her autonomy. Sally needs to refocus on her ambitions and personal power. Imagine her launching a fashion empire that competes with Lauren Fenmore, or buying out a struggling company and turning it into a powerhouse. These moves would reassert her as a force in her own right. The redemption arc that backfired. Soap operas love a good redemption arc. However, in Sally's case, the shift toward redemption felt premature. Unlike characters like Phyllis or Chelsea, whose past sins are deep and varied, Sally's misdeeds were relatively minor in the grand scheme of Soapland. Her calculated moves were often rooted in desperation rather than malice. Forcing her into a redemption arc so early robbed the character of her complexity. Fans didn't want a completely reformed Sally, they wanted a layered one. A character who could be both vulnerable and villainous. Her humanity shouldn't come at the expense of her edge. By restoring her morally gray persona, the show could explore deeper themes. What does it mean to do the wrong thing for the right reason? How far can someone go in pursuit of power without losing their soul? Relationships are more fun with tension. Let's face it, romance on soaps is more compelling when it involves manipulation, secrecy, and sizzling tension. Sally as a schemer created relationships filled with stakes and unpredictability. Her dynamic with Adam was most exciting when both were walking the line between passion and deceit. Now, much of the spark has fizzled out because Sally is trying too hard to be good. A devious Sally doesn't mean a loveless one. In fact, her return to scheming could reignite the chemistry she shares with Adam or open the door for a new power couple to emerge. She could find a kindred spirit in someone equally cunning. Imagine the chaos if Sally teamed up with Audra Charles or Nate Hastings for a shared agenda. A catalyst for other characters. Sally returning to her old self wouldn't just benefit her, it would challenge those around her. Characters like Victoria, Nick, Adam, and even Sharon would be forced to react, evolve, and protect their interests. The best villains or anti-heroes push everyone else to be smarter and stronger. With the show introducing more morally ambiguous figures and revisiting long-standing rivalries, Sally could become the wild card that tips the balance in unexpected ways. Her presence in the boardroom, bedroom, or back alley could lead to alliances fans never saw coming. Fan reception, nostalgia, and anticipation. Many longtime fans of The Bold and the Beautiful followed Sally to I&R, hoping to see her thrive with the same reckless charm. While there were glimmers of that early on, her current characterization feels like a shadow of her former self. Social media buzz suggests viewers miss the Sally who didn't play nice, who made mistakes boldly, and who owned her flaws. Bringing back that version of Sally wouldn't just please fans. It would revitalize a corner of the canvas that's grown a little too quiet. Genoa City doesn't need another saint. It needs a red-haired disruptor. What could trigger the transformation? If the writers are looking for a way to reawaken Sally's fire, the opportunity is ripe. Perhaps a betrayal by Adam finally breaks her illusion of happily ever after. Maybe Nick throws her under the bus at a board meeting. Or maybe she discovers a scandal that she can use to her advantage. Whatever the catalyst, it should be personal, poignant, and powerful enough to make her question why she ever changed. Even a single act of revenge could start the domino effect. Sally forging documents to win a contract, sabotaging a rival's launch, or blackmailing someone who underestimated her. These actions could draw a line in the sand. From there, a full return to form would feel earned and exhilarating. Conclusion: bring back the bad girl. Sally Spectra was never meant to be predictable. She was introduced as a whirlwind, a disruptor, a vibrant force in a town full of secrets and schemes. Her evolution has had its moments, but the pendulum has swung too far into safe territory. It's time to let Sally be Sally again. Bold, brilliant, and just a little bit bad. The Young and the Restless doesn't need to reinvent the wheel. It simply needs to remember what made Sally great in the first place. And in doing so, it might just reignite a fire that burns its way through Genoa City, one glorious scheme at a time.